Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. John Kelly for Options University on Wednesday, September 21st, 2011. First, a disclaimer here. Trading in the market can be very risky. We could have a lot of stories between you and me probably on the losses we have experienced, but what I've learned is take my losers off the table as quickly as possible and let my winners run. And we'll get into that later, and hopefully you're doing the same thing. What's running? Well, the market in anticipation of Ben Bernanke and the Fed and their two-day rather than one-day meeting and how they were going to deal with the economic situation we're facing. The rumor was Operation Twist, and that's exactly what they came out with, $400 billion. It was tried back in 1961 by the Fed and it failed. Will it be any different this time? We'll take a look at what the market reaction was after we talk about some economic news. Housing starts were out Tuesday, and they were down 3%, very disappointing. But at the same time, housing permits were up 3%. So on that, the builders rallied. Lennar, KB Homes were all up. Also up was crude inventory, which put a downer on the price of oil since there was too much oil floating around. That helped pull the market down. And then around lunchtime, Moody's came out with a downgrade of Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Citibank. Obama chimed in earlier this week saying that he wanted a $1.5 trillion tax increase to pay for some of the deficits he's planning on running over the next 10 years. The Republicans said no. Tax increases kill jobs. Obama said, well, if you try and cut my deficit, then I will veto that. So essentially what we have is gridlock until the presidential election in November of 2012. In European news, Greek finance minister held many meetings and phone conversations with ECB representatives. No deal was announced. So now it's not a question of if Greece will default, but when Greece will default and the other countries follow suit. Greece said they have enough money to last to mid-October. I hope that's true. The real obstacle in Greece's way is an $8 billion payment due mid-December. So with Operation Twist, with Obama and the Republicans at each other, and no deal for Greece, how did the market react? Well, on Monday and Tuesday, pretty much sideways in anticipation of, gee, maybe the Fed will rescue us. And after they saw what the Fed planned today, down 283 points we went in rapid fashion. Now, we have been in a channel and in the market here, the E-mini S&P 500, between about 1220 and 1111. Today we finished at about 1154. The lows of August the 9th here were 1077, so we may be headed down in that manner and retesting the August lows. The spider, meanwhile, has been in an up channel, clearly defined and moving right along. In today's drop, we came down and touched the bottom of that channel. We'll see what happens tomorrow if we break that. As I said on Sunday, the VIX had reached a support line here and also the 50-day moving average, the blue line right here. The question is, would we break below that and head for the 200-day, which would mean an uptrending market, or would we bounce, which would mean a downward market? As you can see, we have bounced. Upward resistance line is at 48. It has 2 or 3 touches a couple years back. So the direction would be to the upside now, increased volatility, which is increased premium, which is great if you're a credit spread trader, which I am, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But for now, upward and upward in the premium. Stock news, Netflix. Reports are may lose up to 30% of its subscribers. The CEO is quite concerned, sent out an email apology this week. As Netflix is losing hedge fund support, Amazon and Apple are gaining. Matter of fact, Apple has a new price target today from Goldman Sachs of $520, currently at around $400, $410. The CEO of Newmont Mining came out and forecast that gold would reach $23 or $2,300 an ounce within the next 6 months, and the CEO of Silver Wheaton, SLW, forecast silver at $50 an ounce in the next 6 months. If you're in Washington, D.C. this week, you could have eaten at the grand opening of Chipotle Mexican Grill's first Chop House Southeast Asian chicken restaurant chain that it's going to build across the U.S. The market's excited about it. Chipotle's been going up. It has a buy point of 318.10. Keep an eye on that. The rare earth mineral company MCP received a downgrade from JP Morgan to neutral from overweight. VMware received an upgrade buy from Merriman, and Barclays was busy. AutoZone now has a price target from Barclays of $365. Bed Bath & Beyond $63, and Oracle $70. In earnings news, AutoZone came in with earnings before the open on Tuesday morning and blew everybody away. They had already reached record highs, and the stock moved a little bit higher that day, but settled pretty much for even, and then with today's sell-off came down slightly. But remember, there's a target now of 365 on that, and with an economy that is struggling, with people that are holding on to their vehicles and fixing them up, this stock will continue to go. We'll take a look at it in the gold member section. Carnival Cruise Line, CCL, also beat. Adobe beat. Oracle beat. General Mills beat. And Lamar Homes beat on all earnings. And their guidance were good. So if we go to the gold member section, we're going to look at gold. Which way do you think it's going to go? Apple, Amazon, MasterCard, Cena, and Netflix. But first I want to clarify something that I made a comment from in the webinar on Thursday night, that I was looking at 100% portfolio win for the option month of September. I was in 20 iron condors for the month of September. I was in the bear call and the bull put in each of those 20. So I had 40 trades going. I won on all 40 trades, 100% return. I did not have a loser or a failure. In Amazon, I was in a position where I had 2 standard deviations where I would get a 6% return on the bear call, and I was at a 2 standard deviation trade in the bull put for a 6%. So I got a 12% actual return on Amazon for the month, and in others, as little as 3%, as much as 6%. I rarely go beyond that, but we can discuss that at a later time. So on to the gold member section.